right. Hello and welcome to Smiling Souls. This is Stephanie Keenan Ray and Wendy T.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Yay.
So, what'd you pull for an angel card today? Or whatever card today?
I pulled from my Ancestors and Angels card deck, Animal Guardian.
Ooh.
Trust your instincts.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Does it
and I don't have the well, so the book thing is in the kitchen and I'm sitting here in my feet are in my foot massager.
Oh, so yeah, that explains 100%.
So I can't.
You can't.
But trust my instincts. That's the
right.
Welcome to the podcast, Noemi. This is what happens.
Yep. And I pulled creative writing. It's my angel cards. And it's Archangel Gabriel. Make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen an article or book. Gosh, I hope we're promoting your journal this week.
Oh, that's funny. I thought when you read that card, creative, I'm like, oh, we've got the perfect guest on.
Today. Right? We really do. We do. Because super creative. And so, yeah, it just says your soul longs for a creative expression through writing. I can help you schedule this activity, honor any inner nudges that guide you to write. The writing may be for your own enjoyment or maybe a cathartic experiment of self-expression in a private journal. As you work with your connection to the written word, you may receive divine guidance to write articles, books for publication. Call upon me at any time to guide you through this process. So that's exciting. Archangel Gabriel, he is the messenger guy, so I guess he would help you write the things.
He's such a good helper.
He is a helper. So yeah, that was that. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I wanted to ask Noemi, do you have a card? I don't know if you do this practice. Okay.
No, I don't. Unfortunately, no.
That's okay. Yeah, we just kind of play with different decks of cards and have fun with it and figure it gives a little message for our listeners. So
I'm studying my rune stones and everything. So I'm getting there, but it's very slow. I made the runes. I collected the stones on the beach. So I made the runes, and there's a little sachet or something like that. I keep them there, but I'm just learning about them right now. So
that is so cool.
Wait, what is this?
Runes?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell her about runes.
Well, it's a form of divination as well. It's like you pull in cards. You do the same with the runes. Basically, it's just the rune stones, and you can buy them. You can make them. The best to make them because it's more energy, and your energy really aligns with it. So it's really interesting. I don't know too much about it yet, but I will let you know when I get there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, like the stones have different symbols on them.
Yeah, different symbols. It's like the ancient runes, like in the Scandinavian mythology. And in Scandinavia, in the old, ancient times, they used runes. I studied Scandinavian linguistics, so for me, we studied a lot about runes. But this is a bit different, though, because it's for divination and not for kind of communication as well. It's still different.
That's really cool.
That is super interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. And we're already starting off with a bang. This is awesome.
Yeah, we are.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hey, everybody. Are you running a business and need a little extra support? Well, Kay Page Engel is an online business manager, an OBM, who specializes in influencer support, strategy, and monetization. Page helps business owners, entrepreneurs, and content creators streamline operations and focus on growth. From managing the day-to-day to big picture strategy, Kay Page Engel ensures every aspect of the business is covered so clients can scale with ease. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Well, just visit www.pageengel.com for more details. That is www.pageengele.com. And Steph?
She's the best. She seriously has helped us in so many ways, and she is so wonderful.
She's
Highly
She's
recommend.
one of those heart-centered people. And like, we didn't know what we didn't know going into this. And boy, she has really helped guide us and focus us so that we are still having fun, but we're also doing the things.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been wonderful, and we cannot encourage you more to go talk to Paige.
Yep. Visit her page. Visit Paige's page.
Are you ready to introduce our friend?
I am so ready. So ready. Actually, and Noemi, how do you pronounce your last name?
Beres. That's the closest you can get.
Okay, perfect. So, friends, listeners, I am so happy to welcome Noemi Beres to our podcast today. Noemi is a self-taught artist from Hungary, residing in Cyprus for 13 years. She is known for her unique mixed media collages on canvas. Inspired by memories, nature, and Mediterranean life, she uses vintage photos, postcards, textiles, and buttons, letting the materials guide her creative process. With courses in art therapy, color therapy, and positive psychology, Noemi understands art's therapeutic power, particularly in coping with grief after losing her father and grandmother in 2019. She's passionate about sharing how art can promote relaxation, express emotions, and boost self-esteem, benefiting everyone, artist or not. Welcome, Noemi.
Thank you so much, Wendy and Stephanie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
We're so happy to have you.
I am beyond excited to have you here. I love creativity and started the Creative Network. So I'm so excited to hear more about your art, what you do, how you use that in the world, and all the things. So I don't know, you want to give us a little background on you and, what brought you to Cyprus, the thing, I don't know, whatever you want to share.
All the things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was born and raised in Central Europe, in Hungary. And, I left my country pretty early. I was but I was 23 when I finished, university. I had a master's degree in Scandinavian linguistics. I speak Danish and Swedish. Before that, I was an exchange student in Denmark. So for me, I was always traveling with my parents. So it was in my blood. And I knew that I wasn't going to stay in Hungary forever. That was in my plan. And it was funny because when I was about, 14, 15, I journaled a lot. And we ended up basically living in Ireland. So I just jumped in time. So we lived in Ireland for 7 years. And I found this journal of mine, from age 14, 15, and it was written down. That's like, I'm going to live in Ireland because I love the country and it's so beautiful. And, the rolling green hills and everything. And I was just thinking about like, oh my gosh, I manifested this when I was 14. So basically I ended up, moved away from Hungary in 2004. And ended up living in Ireland. So I got a job there and I worked for a company for 3 years, but I wasn't happy with it. And I always wanted to be my own boss. So in 2007, I became an entrepreneur. And together with my husband, we started our own business. It was an online travel-related business. We were the first car rental brokers for Hungarian clients who traveled abroad.
Cool.
It was like we started to work remotely in 2007. So when COVID hit, it was just like, okay, that's cool. I mean, we've been doing this for a few years, and so this business went well. We lived in Ireland. It was a beautiful country, and I was doing social media marketing, content creation, blogging, travel writing. So just wearing too many hats at the same time, as solopreneurs do. And but COVID hit. And that was it. The whole travel industry just went up in the smoke from one day to another. And so we had to pivot.
Yeah.
And luckily we are those kind of people. I'm that kind of person too. It's like, that's okay. So we have to figure out something else because we have to pay the bills. We have to pay our son's tuition, or we have to figure out something. And luckily, it's again, universe sent this mentor to us. And he's an Irish guy, and he's absolutely amazing. And my husband knew him. So he got on board He got us on board with this new program. Like, he was basically did a training to be a run a podcast booking agency, and that's what we did. It was like low investment, and we did it. Then my husband told me, okay, so we create a website. So from one day to another again, here's the website. Let's find customers. Let's find clients, and that's how we started in 2020. And and this is our 4th year in the business, and we reached six figure this year in April. So it was a big thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah, it was quite a ride since 2020, but it was totally worth it because I got to know so many amazing people worldwide, and I just enjoy my job and running the agency so much. And it's just good to get up and know to work with amazing people and help them and serve them to get on podcasts and, just help to share their stories and share their knowledge.
That is fantastic. Yes. And you've already helped us have a few guests. So that's fantastic.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah.
You have been awesome. I'm like, Steph, Noemi emailed us again. She's got another potential guest. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Noemi, I had just a question. I want to get your perspective on this. You said in 2020, everything changed, like the travel business went, and you said something very, I think, impressive. You said, I'm the type of person that I'm like, okay, well, what's next? And we pivoted. Here's my question. This is always happening in life, right? Everything is always constantly changing.
Yeah.
And some people can pivot very easily. Some people, it's really, really hard. And so in the frame up of being in the sandwich generation, suddenly having to care for an aging parent, what advice can you give to someone that suddenly has to take care of an aging parent and they are forced to pivot? What can you share with them about your energy around this and just going, well, okay, I guess it's time to pivot?
Yeah, it's a great question, Wendy. Yeah, it's a tricky situation because, obviously you lost business, you lost money and everything. But in order to help your parents and help your aging parents, or in my case was helping, just in 2019, helping my dad who struggled, who had cancer. And it's really hard to find that kind of balance between life and work and, starting a business or just running a business, being a mom, being a wife, and care for parents. And I'm not saying it's so easy and, it's like, oh yeah, let's do it. We can totally do that. Obviously, I think you have to just born kind to be in that kind of mindset, or you have to learn it or somehow educate yourself that there's always a way out, whatever happens. It's not easy, and you will have sleepless nights and you will have troubles, but I think it's just really important to look at life from a positive perspective and not just looking at the negative things, because we still have people to care for when they are alive. It's just so important. And for my mantra, my motto in life is just keep going. So for me, that was always on whatever happened, whatever horrible thing happened in the family, sickness, illness, losing money, losing business. That's like, if I had a tattoo, which I don't have, but if I had one, that would be on my arm or somewhere. It's like, just keep going, because that was always my mantra.
Yeah.
I love that. And you talk about, I've heard you talk about this before, finding joy amidst difficulties. And you kind of touched on this, but can you share more about how your journey with your father and during your visits and helping your mom care for him? Can you share more about how that journey influenced your art and your perspective on holistic care?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, so my dad was diagnosed with cancer in 2017. and he was told that he had like 6 months to live, and he lived for 2 more years. I mean, I think that was thanks to the family and the support he got from us. And I'm an only child, so we lived in different countries because my late dad lived in Hungary. I lived in Cyprus, but like every month we went home and we visited him. And if there was something happened, like, because there was times that he was very close to dying. And so we just jumped on a plane, went back home. And so I tried to always be there for my mom, who was alone with this whole situation and my dad's sickness. And she wasn't in the best state either. So it was really, really nerve-wracking for me to see this as an only child. And I couldn't just leave Cyprus because that's my home. That's where my son goes to school. That's my businesses. So it was kind of a strange time for me. And then I lost my dad in May in 2019, exactly on my son's birthday, on 7th birthday. So it's like whenever we celebrate my son's birthday, it's always my dad's death anniversary as well. So it was hard. And then again, and as we a little bit, lost my dad. So it was horrible coping with grief. And then a few months later, just one day before Christmas, my grandma had an accident, and then she passed away just one day before Christmas, and that was the same year. So, and the whole thing just started again, and it was a horrible thing. And basically, my family, just me and my mom left, and obviously my son, so my closest relatives. So yes, and then pandemic happened, lost the business. My son is at home, doing online schooling, and just everything is just going crazy at home. And trying to find new customers. So it was a mess. I was kind of a mess because I couldn't really cope or think about my grief while I was organizing everything and helping my mom with the funerals and everything. But then, when there was lockdown, I just it's like, oh my gosh, what just happened to me? And, I just started to think that this was just so horrible. And how did I survive this? And I couldn't listen, for example, to music for months, although I love music. And so I was emotionally, physically, I was just exhausted. And because I'm an artist, I'm a self-taught artist, as you mentioned, and I had exhibitions before the pandemic, and I had art installations. I went to different parts of Europe for artist meetups. So I was kind of in this buzzing art scene, and then everything stopped. So when I was in this emotional, physical, everything pain, with anxiety, with grief, okay, I need to do something. I don't have a therapist. We are here locked down. Plus, my mom ended up just stranded in Cyprus, basically, because she traveled to Cyprus with us and she couldn't fly back in for 3 months. So the whole family was together, which was great, but it was hard. So every evening I figured out, like, I need to do something artsy. So I'm not going to watch TV. I'm not going to watch the news because everything was just about people dying and numbers and the pandemic. Or probably I thought I'm just going crazy if I do that. So what I did, I started to work on my hands-on collages on canvas. Every evening I put on my headphone and I was listening to podcast music or an audiobook, and I just started to sew because I'm just kind of sewing my memories together on these canvases using all these different mediums. And that was it. And I was in my flow and I could relax. It was a form of meditation for me. It was so soothing, relaxing, and it was just amazing to practice this kind of type of self-care. So I just went in my room, nobody disturbed me, and I was just working on these collages. And after a few months, and I was working on these collages, I realized that, like, I'm starting to feel better. Now I can listen to music. So this is great. And if I can do this, I can teach people how to do it when they are alone with their problems. And they want to get out of that whole black hole, but they can't. And you don't have to be an artist in order to do these things, because you can dance, you can make music. I love drumming, for example. I have different drums, and you can do anything. You can crochet, you can knit. It doesn't matter what you do as long as it's therapeutic, and it's a holistic way to heal yourself with the help of art.
Wow.
That is so wonderful. It's interesting. Spotify puts together the end of the year playlist and it tells you, you listen to this much music or whatever. And last night I was finally going through it and it said that I listened to, I don't know, a ridiculous amount of music. And that the month that I listened the most hours of listening was actually February, which I was in a bit of a depression in February. So it totally makes sense that I was just like,
Right.
gonna listen to all sorts of music. I don't even know what I was listening to. But it is interesting how the music, the art, all the things can help us move through those feelings, because when you're feeling depressed, you can put on or sad, you can put on different music and it'll just shift your energy and change where you're at. I have a friend who does art therapy, and that's one of her exercises that she'll do is she'll play like one piece of music, have them draw, and then she'll play a really upbeat piece of music and have them draw another drawing. And it's like to look at the difference between the two pictures is so cool, because it really does change.
Yeah, it shifts your mood and your energy like instantly. I have different playlists, like you mentioned,
Yes.
Spotify. I'm a walker. I love walking. So I have this, upbeat walking when okay, I need energy because I'm tired today. But there are days when it's like, oh, I just need to relax. So I have my relaxing playlist.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Music and art, both powerful things. And so, Steph, I just have to insert this. So February of this year, I was in the same place. I was depressed. Business is not going well. And we got together just to let you guys know the side story, the backstory. Steph and I talked, February, March, something like this. I was for sure in tears. I don't know. You might have been too. I don't know. We probably cried together. And then we decided to do something together. And that's how this podcast was born. Just saying it. So side note there. And also, Steph, with your, what do you call it? Creative arts, natural beauties. Man, just starting to do that with you. Speaking of art and finding your joy. I am not an artist at all whatsoever, but coming to Steph's creative arts on Mondays allows me to slow myself down, get myself out of the frenetic energy that I probably am in. And it just sets me up for a smoother day, week kind of thing. So art is so powerful.
And I will never forget the first session that you came to, because that first session you were like, I think I'm just gonna do some
I was gonna work on my client notes.
I'm gonna do my client notes. And like literally everyone on the call was like, no, you're not. And so you got your little sketchbook out and you got your little names. And since then you're like, thank God I didn't do that, because that was amazing. And
this is it. 9/9/24. Is that when you started?
Yep.
That was my very first.
Yep. Pushing off and up and soaring.
And soaring to my dream destination, because that was a message I got from one of my angels.
Yep.
And I thought, well, I'm going to just put this in art form.
Yes. So and it's been fun. It's been amazing having that creative network and inviting people to check it out, because I really want the people who don't consider themselves artists to pop in, even if they're just coloring in a coloring book or doodling in a sketch pad, because it's just tapping into that creativity and allowing themselves that space and that time, that self-care to find that joy and that innovation and that energy, basically. And then it flows over to your life, to your personal or professional life. And like you go back to work and you're like, oh, I can do all the things because I suddenly have this renewed energy. It's kind of amazing. I would love to learn more about the art you do, because, we can see it behind you. I love your style. I love that you incorporate all those personal elements and then the textiles and everything. I'm a multimedia kind of person. I love it. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, I love mixed media art because I think I love things that I can touch. I love beautiful paintings and drawings, but for me, it's really about the sensation when you touch something. And that's what I think the magic about mixed media, because when it's ready and everything is basically sewed on the canvas, so it won't fall apart ever. So you can even just heat
So
it just to the
impressive that
table
you
and
sew it to
everything.
the canvas.
Yeah, which is weird because people usually don't do that. But what I
very
did with
cool.
it is you can use like glue and everything, but it doesn't stick in Cyprus
Yeah.
because of the humidity and the
Yep.
Mediterranean climate. So what I found is like, okay, let's just sew it together. It's pretty hard on your hands because it's yeah, your fingers and hand can hurt because you have to work a lot, and you really have to be careful not to destroy photographs or postcards or when you actually sew them together. But I just love it when it's ready and you can just touch it and feel it, and there's this texture to it. I think that's what I love about it. And what I also love, like art journaling, that you can use the same technique, and it's just beautiful the way you can use this. And I'm not a hoarder, but I love collecting things when it comes to my collage because I never know when I can use them. So
Yes.
yeah, I use like bracelets that fell apart, or a postcard that I got from my grandparents when I visited Venice, Italy with them when I was 6, and I kept the postcard and I used it on
Yeah,
that
the
collage.
one behind you.
And
Oh,
the lace that I got from my late grandma, and just family members giving me things, and I keep them, and somehow it comes to me when I need to use them. I go, okay, this is it. I remembered I have that tablecloth or something like that. It's beautiful, and it's a Hungarian folk art, and I need to incorporate it into that collage. So it just comes to me, and because people ask me, and sometimes on podcasts, how do you decide what comes in a collage? I don't know. It comes to me. I just have an idea. Sometimes I write it down. I have a small journal. It's like, okay, the next collage is going to be about this and that, and I have these ideas. Like, what's the next one and the next one? And I just don't want to forget about it, because I will if I don't write it down.
Yeah. Well, and I love that way of holding on to those traditional things or those memories. Especially like the tapestries or the lace that might not sit in your house or suit in your, they don't fit your style or modern society, but you are holding on to it because, like, I know I have a couple things that I hold on to because I'm like, well, this reminds me of grandma, but what am I going to do with it? It lives in a drawer and I occasionally look at it, so it's kind of neat to find a new way to put it into your home.
Yeah, and I love like upcycling. So for me, it's also kind of an upcycling project because oh my gosh, I can use this for this, and we gave them a new life, and they live forever with us in this way. And as you said, Stephanie, they're not in the drawer anymore because it's just not fun to be in the drawer. It's just get out and get some light.
Not fun to be in the drawer.
Catchphrase, just saying.
Yeah.
I love this because you can see and enjoy and get those memories from your family, and just kind of almost connect to their energy, and maybe connect to their dreams and wishes and hopes for you too. And I want to go back just for a second, Noemi. You said when you were in lockdown and you were sewing, you were also meditating. So tell us more about that. Was that something that just happened holistically, meditation, or was it something that you had intended when you started your art projects?
It just happened. That was it. And it's felt like a meditation, because now, like, every day I start my day, but like every morning I meditate at least for 10 minutes, and I drum. So that's kind of form of meditation for me. But when I started working on my collages, that wasn't intentional at all. It just, on a subconscious level, it just come to me. And because when you sew, the monotony and the slowness of sewing, like going back to these old roots, because people's, sewing things together for, I don't know, hundreds and thousands of years. I don't know, maybe not thousands, but hundreds. Yeah. And it's so soothing, even if you just embroidering something. No wonder they did that in the old days. There was no phone, there were no phones, no television,
Right.
no internet. So yeah, let's embroider something, and in the fine room or whatever, in these castles or whatever mansions they
Yeah.
lived, and it was part of the fun. But it is soothing, and it's a form of meditation for me, for sure. And I think, yes, for other people. And it's not just the sewing, but if you draw or if you color a mandala. I remember when my mom stuck here with us in Cyprus, and I knew that she was just really nervous and about that, not getting back home to Hungary for 3 months. And I had like a mandala coloring book, and I just gave it to her. It's like, Mom, you need to start to work on this. And I think she finished the whole book, and it was a very thick one. So.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
And it's awesome. And she really enjoyed it. I mean, she was a kindergarten teacher for like 40 years. So, I mean, art was kind of in her, in her blood as well. But she enjoyed it, and she needed it badly. So it really helped her to survive the lockdown with us,
Yeah.
the whole family.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's incredible. And so talking about your mom, you said she's been your biggest inspiration in your journey. Can you share more about that?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to. Yeah, my parents were my biggest inspiration, my late dad as well. I mean, I was the center of her universe all the time, only girl, only child. But my mom was really my rock since I was born. I mean, really helped to learn how to respect myself, how to have boundaries in life. Wow. And also, I had very low self-esteem growing up. I was a very, very shy teenager. I wasn't into parties or drugs or drinks or nothing.
Yeah.
I was just most of the time just studying. He had to basically, quote unquote, kick me out of my room. It's like, get some fresh air. I mean, you're just studying too much. And so for me, I was really shy. And thankfully that they gave me the opportunity that I could be an exchange student in Denmark. And that exchange year in Denmark, I grew up. I was age 16 when I left, and I got back when I was age 17. I spent a school year with a Danish family, studying at a Danish school. And from one day to another, you're just growing up so quickly. And so I got back, and my classmates that I went back to my old class at high school, and they didn't really recognize me. I mean, literally, they didn't recognize me because I had nose ring and short hair and whatever.
I see pictures of that, just saying.
Right.
And so, yeah, that was a big thing. But they always provided me emotional support, financial support. Although we weren't rich, we were a middle-class family. My mom was a kindergarten teacher. My dad was the chief fire officer in our town, but he got sick and he almost passed away. And that was before the cancer, because he had a very strange disease called cardiomyopathy, when you have like enlarged heart. And that was because of a vaccination they got and during their service. And so at the same age as I am now, he was retired. He couldn't work anymore. So we weren't like rich or loaded or anything like that, but they always there for me, always supported me. Wow. And I think that's just so important to have that kind of family support, because it's really helped me to become the woman I am today and to have that kind of self-esteem.
Yeah. How does that help you as a mom?
My mom criticizes me a lot.
Sorry, I'm laughing because, wow, my mom, that's all that just comes out of her mouth. Hi, Mom.
Not always. I mean, thankfully, she doesn't understand English, so she doesn't speak English, so she won't listen to this podcast. And I'm not going to say any bad things behind her back. But obviously, she was a kindergarten teacher, and she has that kind of experience with kids, and and don't say no too much. Do this, don't do that. Like, oh my gosh, and just like. But obviously she helped me a lot because like we helped her. She had actually a very interesting, just on a side note, she had a online, we helped her to create an online program for parents in Hungary. And we were way ahead of our time because that was back in 2017-ish. No, that was earlier. Sorry, no, it was like 2008, 7 or something like that. So we created an online program for my mom, and nobody had it in Hungary back then. And the parents could log in. It was like a coaching program by my
Yeah.
mom. Yeah.
That's
And
so cool.
and all the
It's very
knowledge she
cool.
shared, we just put it in online format, and people
Yeah.
could buy the course, and they could have chat with my mom, discovery call with my mom. So now thinking back, we were pretty good, doing that with her.
Yeah.
But then when my dad got sick, she needed to stop the program. But there were so many parents, they just loved her because of the amount of knowledge she had about how to raise kids and how to cope with toddlers and how to cope with terrible twos and how to cope with how to be with kids and how to raise them. So I learned a lot from her, and but I'm far from perfect. So yeah,
Yeah, aren't we all?
who's perfect?
Seriously, aren't we all?
Aren't we
Yeah.
all?
Yeah. I had a friend who was in the networking group we're in, and she was like she taught yoga to little kids, but in teaching the yoga, it was to like help them work through emotions and things like that. But when she would coach, like when she'd work with the kids, she'd sit down with the adults and talk to them about like, this is why your child's doing this. They're trying to regulate themselves, and how to work your way through it, right? And I had her work with my son while mid-pandemic, because right before the pandemic he lost his mind in kindergarten, and it was so fascinating to learn like that inner workings things that like that a normal parent does not think of, or even when he was little and he had early intervention, so like these people would come and sit and play with him, but they'd be playing with us too and like talking to us about like, this is what you're doing when you're playing with these bricks. It's like you're helping him learn X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And I was like, never thought of that, like, because in an adult world you don't think about how interacting in certain ways does help, and so yeah, it was pretty fascinating. But that's neat that you had that as a resource.
Yeah, and I read the whole program through. Obviously, we learned a lot
Yeah.
with my husband about like how to raise kids. I mean, we have an only I have an only child. I mean, he's only
Yeah.
child, so but still, yeah, he's a handful. He's a handful.
He's a handful. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Only child too here, Noemi. Just saying.
Yeah, and my son, me. So I get him. I get him because I was an only child.
Right. Because that's
I only have one, but I come from three, so I'm the baby though. So
you are the baby of the family.
Yeah.
And you got an only child. Only
Yeah.
child. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So tell us about color theory, and I was curious about that, like how you use that with like how you utilize that, and I think you were writing about the color therapy or art therapy and color theory. Did the parallel or separate? I don't know.
It's a fascinating topic, and I could talk probably for hours about it, and how the energy shifts when you surround yourself with different colors in different places. And for example, just a few of examples a bit that, like they said, don't use red in the bedroom because it can even raise your blood pressure, and your even your pulse can go high because you use red. Or how soothing green can be, and that's why hospitals, they have green, obviously. Or like if you use blue, and how soothing is that for your soul, for your body, and for your energy. And it was so fascinating to study how we can incorporate it in life, because I love design, I love interior design, and I have an Instagram account. I've been working on this for many years to have those almost 100K followers. And I was always into colors, and just more the merrier. And I just realized how colorful things make people happy, and it's just so amazing. And so for me to study this was just a new opportunity again to connect with all these colors. And
Yeah.
get to know all the meaning behind them. It's really, really fascinating. And colors can help to heal. I mean, there are certain type of meditations when you, during this course I was doing, I did the meditation, and there's the one time there was green, the other time there was a blue meditation, and there was a certain type of music. And then all you have to do is you don't close your eyes first. You just like, basically you look at the screen, and all these colors are just moving around, and you listen to this meditation music. And then like after 5 minutes, you close your eyes, and then you meditate, and you see these colors on your mind's eye. So it's very, very fascinating, and it does help you to reduce anxiety and stress. And the colors help too. It's like art, but in a different way. And people can absolutely use that in their life and incorporate it in their life. And it's not even difficult to learn it, because you just have to start to meditate, for example, with colors, and that's it. And anybody can do that. Even kids can do it, and it helps them to focus better and to relax more. Yes, it's really fascinating.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because like, certain colors make you feel confident, or certain colors, yeah, it's so interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how powerful colors were until the mastermind group I was in. We were talking about websites. And one of the gals was like, because I was saying my website is not converting. It's like right? People are not signing up for my lead magnet. She's like, well, send me your website. Let me look. And she went, whoa, you got a lot of orange. You got a lot of red. No, that's just like tripping all the triggers for your ideal clients. They're like being repelled. I'm like, oh, she said blues, sky blue, greens. Aha. And you know what? I changed the colors of my website, and now it's attracting. People are signing up for my free gift. I'm like, I had no idea. But color is powerful.
It is.
Well, and like I remember learning when I was in catering that certain restaurants, the fast food restaurants, they choose the red, the bright red, the bright yellow, because it's kind of the get the hell in and out. Like, grab your food and get out.
Eat it, then beat it.
Yes. That's what it's all about.
Wow, it's very fascinating. And today I watched a YouTube video. This is my cooking day. I do batch cooking every week, and everybody knows that on Friday I do batch cooking. And so in the morning, I'm watching videos in the meantime, because sometimes I have to do very boring things. And so I watched this YouTube video about and I think I posted about it on LinkedIn too, because it was so fascinating for me, about the Nordic minimalism and Nordic simplicity, how you can incorporate that into your life, and how people in Nordic countries do that. And this particular guy was from Finland, and he talked about they don't, like the one you mentioned, that like fast food restaurants, everything is flashy, everything bright, just everything is just so hyped up. But in Scandinavia, when you go to restaurants or cafes, everything is just so relaxing, and all the lights are just maybe candles and tiny, just very, very soothing lights everywhere. So you can spend time there. You feel like at home.
Inviting you to stay.
Exactly. And it's no rush, no pressure on you. It's very low key, very minimalistic. And
I love that.
It was beautiful to watch it. And it's like, wow. And you feel so different than you running into this restaurant and just shoveling everything in, while taking your time and just slow down.
Yeah.
Oh my. So this is coming up because years ago now, I remember I had a craving for a Big Mac. So McDonald's. And I hadn't been there in years. And I was like, I'm just going to go zip through the drive-through. Here's the thing. I noticed there was a lot of just energy, not good energy. I'm sitting in the drive-through and I'm like, oh my Lord, I am feeling all of the rushed feeling and hurry up and let's get out of here. That explains it. That explains it, because that's how they've set things up. Get in, get out, go.
It's all about marketing. Yeah, it's kind of a marketing technique as well, and psychology. So,
Lordy. You mentioned the Nordic style, right? Have you read Swedish Death Cleaning? I have not yet.
Not yet. I heard about it. For me, it's like I have the Hygge books, the
Yeah.
Art of Hygge and everything, and that was my thing. No, I haven't. I heard about it. I read about it a little bit, but no, not yet. No.
I'm curious. I'm going to kind of read that and get into it. Speaking of books, Noemi, you mentioned a couple of resources for our readers. The Go Giver, Bob
Yes.
Burg and John David Mann. Can you say more about that book and why it's a good resource?
Yes, I have it always here
You
with
got it
me.
right there.
Just right here.
Go
It's
Giver.
a good book.
It's an amazing book, and it was a funny story the way I got it, because that was back in, I don't know, 2007, when the book actually was published in the US. We were subscribed to some kind of marketing program. It didn't really work out, but we got this box of marketing books or whatever we got, and on the top of it there was a book, and that was The Go Giver by Bob Burg and John David Mann. And the marketing stuff was rubbish, but the only thing that I learned so much from that was the book, the little red book, The Go Giver. And I was just planning to join the community for many, many years. And then about 3 years ago, I made up my mind and I joined the Go Giver community. And since then, my life and business changed, because the way I do business, the way I help and serve people is the Go Giver way. And this is thanks to Bob and the amazing community he created with Kathy Tajanel. And, I can just speak so highly of them. I mean, Bob became my friend and mentor, which is, and I'm still starstruck when I think about it. Like, Bob Burg sometimes just comments on my posts. And when we are in a call with the Go Giver community, it's just like my second family, across the pond. So it's an amazing book, and I learned so much from not just only one book, but all the other books that Bob has. And it's about how to get things from life, but not the way that you just like push everybody away, and all matters is your own, the money and the fame that you get. But on the way along, you have to care for people, and you have to serve them and help them, and everything comes back to you tenfold from the universe because you help people. And there's there. I mean, your energy is there, and they feel that. And thankfully, I got so many referrals thanks to the Go Giver community that half of them, were my clients and are my clients. So it's amazing. So this book is a must read for everyone. If you haven't read it, please do.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I love it.
Yeah.
That is good. That is good.
Excellent.
It's a lot more up than Swedish death cleaning.
I mean, that's part of life too. I mean, it's an important thing. And like, unfortunately, that was kind of, I had to do that, but not after my dad passed away and after my grandma passed away. And my late dad he was hoarding a lot of stuff. And we had an extra building in my parents' yard, and that was full of everything, basically. So together with my husband, there was a month during the summer. It was a very hot summer, and we went back to visit my mom, and we had to get rid of a lot of stuff. And it was kind of a death cleaning, but after my dad passed away, and we didn't want to do it when he was alive, because these were her things, but it was kind of a purification and walking down on memory lane, and I found all my childhood clothing or books that I told him, can you just get rid of them because we don't need them? And he kept everything. Everything was there. So it was a very cathartic experience for me to go through it, emotional, but also it was soothing as well to know that like that was him, and we just say goodbye to all the things that we had there.
Yeah.
Can I tell you something funny? When I cleaned out my mom's house, so she moved into a retirement community, and then I was pretty much doing it myself. And man, she kept a lot of stuff. Good God, she kept everything, to the extent of, I don't know if I've ever told you this stuff. I found an envelope, regular business size envelope, and on the outside it said Wendy's first hayride.
Hayride?
Hayride. You want to guess what was in the envelope?
Some hay?
Yeah. From the first hayride.
Wow. I've never heard of that one. That's a good one. I was expecting it to be teeth or hair.
I did find my teeth.
When When I was a
I-
child, I
I'm
was
here.
sneaking through my mother's drawers, just like
Yeah.
curious. Like it was her drawer
Yeah.
that she kept scarves and random things in.
Right.
And I found this weird silver thing, looked like an egg that was locked, and I found a way to open it. And in it were mostly my brother and sister's teeth, because I had only lost like one tooth at that point. But there was a whole bunch of teeth, and I was
Were you like,
frigging, I was
what the
frigging
hell?
terrified. I thought that my
Tooth
mother.
fairy.
No,
No.
I made no connection to the tooth fairy.
No
I thought
connection.
my mother like just collected teeth. Like, did she murder people and take their teeth? Like, I don't know. I was so horrified. Like,
Did you ask her?
no, because I was not supposed to be in her drawer. So
Okay,
I
so
just
Steph's
was
mom
like,
is watching this going,
but it was so funny because I literally made no connection to the tooth fairy, and I was like, ugh. I think I went to my sister and I was like, Mom has this thing. Do you know about it? And I think that's when she was like, yeah, those are our teeth. And I was like, no, she couldn't have, because I either held it for like as a deep dark secret for quite some time because I believed in the tooth fairy like through most of my
Right?
teeth. So and my siblings were very good at upholding all of the like the belief systems, you know.
So
Like
what is your-
to
did you-
this day, we still all pretend that Santa exists. Sorry if
He
anybody's listening
does.
with their children. Yes, because like when I was a kid, we were coming home from midnight mass and there was snow on everybody's rooftops, and we did see something strange in the sky that night because we all saw it. Like even my dad was like,
Mhm.
what the hell is that? And then my sister and brother looked over at our neighbor's house, and like literally snow must have fallen off of a tree, but it literally fell in two lines on their roof. And so they were like, look, their roof, Santa went to their house. And so they were like, get in the house, go to bed right away if you want Santa to come. And because they were teenagers and I was like 7. So I was like, okay. And so like they really believed in like keeping up the magic, and we all do anyways because we love that our mom turns into a Christmas elf every year. So yeah, we always did. But like when it came to the teeth, I believed in the tooth fairy for so long. So I at some point I think I did admit that I found the teeth, and I was like, what's the deal? But I think I kept it as a deep dark secret for a very long time.
You kept it as a deep dark secret.
Yeah.
Oh, Steph.
I was so convinced that my mother was like a murderer.
I'm sorry.
And now I laugh about it because, you know, I collect my child's teeth and
Yeah,
keep
we
them
all do.
hidden in my top drawer. And I'm like, what am I going to do with these? I don't know, but what are you supposed to do with
Right.
them?
What do you do with kids' teeth?
I
I
don't
still
know.
have mine back in Hungary. I have a box and it's there. My old teeth.
Lordy. I tossed mine out. I was like, nope. Mm-mm. No.
I might have to make an art piece. I don't know.
Yeah, you can actually, like jewelry and everything. It's a bit weird, but
yeah, people do make the weird jewelry. Yep.
Keychain.
Yep. Oh my Lord. Well, this has been a very fun episode. I hope we've entertained you all today. Thank you, Naomi, for being such an
Yeah,
amazing guest and sharing all about what you do and how you help yourself and others. And do you teach people with the art, or do you just do it for yourself?
I do it for myself, but what I do, because I run a podcast booking agency, through the podcast guesting, I spread the word,
Share.
I share the knowledge, and that's why I did the courses on art therapy, positive psychology,
Yeah.
and color therapy, because I think it's just important. If I help just only one person who listens, and they can start do something today, and it can help them to get out of that black hole. I mean, that's just so important. So for me, just spreading the news, sharing my knowledge about it, and get on podcast, and that's a perfect place to do that.
Awesome.
And your
love
art
that.
is on your Instagram.
Yes, it's there too. I also have a web page, a website. It's my name is noemiberes.com. And you can mostly see my cut and paste collages there. So those are not the hands-on collages, but I love making, love working with, paper, scissors, glue too. I mean, that's my thing as well. And you can see my collages there if you
Wow.
Very
like it.
cool. Very
So I know
cool.
Steph is going to post all the links to get in
Yep.
touch with Noemi. And thank you so much for joining us today. I love your laugh, by the way.
Thank you.
It's a good one. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.